Logan Paul, any of the Pauls, I don't care. Bring it.
I want to fight, what's his name? What's the Francis dude's name?
Francis Ngannou. Tyron Woodley has been smoking dope.
It's a Gloved Up, the #1 YouTube boxing exclusive show.
Hey man, subscribe to Gloved Up, bro. Come on, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gloved Up. Today I have an Overtflow interview for you today. Unfortunately, a lot of the first part of the interview got cut out due to audio and internet problems, but I was able to save a lot of this interview. I did whatever I could to chop it up and make sure it was heard and make sure any audio errors were fixed up as well as video errors. Overflow and me talked about Temper and him entering the ring at Showstar. We talked about his YouTube career, the potential for him to come back to YouTube to get 1 million subscribers, and we also talked about his ring return, potentially at Showstar or beyond. It's an awesome interview for you guys today. Let's not waste any more time. The Overtflow interview. Let's go.
What's the word that I'm looking for? It's from MW2. Tactical nuke incoming. That's what's happening. If he doesn't play that for his walkout song, by the way, Team Star's my uncle. By the way, if you didn't know, that's why he walked out with me and performed that with me. Then my dad was.
Is he actually your legitimate uncle?
Yeah, he's my legitimate uncle.
Oh my God, really?
Ask him right now, yeah.
That's actually insane.
Big ones like Social Knockout, Social Gloves, Showstar. I've been hit up by probably close to a dozen other smaller promotions that want to work in this influencer boxing field now.
I wanted to ask you real quick. A lot of fans of the YouTube boxing community have been asking whether or not you were going to be on Showstar, and you kind of confirmed that you were trying to get a fight made, but you had your hand injured even with trying to get a fight. So talk about trying to get that fight on Showstar. What happened, if you can talk about it, and why did you want to fight with a broken hand?
Okay, so hand wasn't broken. I dislocated a finger, which isn't really that bad. I thought that it had healed up, but then I do jiu-jitsu. I do jiu-jitsu and wrestling and stuff. And I had gotten taken down and jammed the same finger, and my whole hand was like swollen for like a couple weeks. So I don't know what that was. I actually never went to the doctor. I think that's just a thing, though, in general. If you do a lot of combat sports, typically, unless it's something major, I feel like nobody actually goes to get that checked out. But here's all my jiu-jitsu stuff back here. I do have combat experience, not as much in the striking realm as I would have liked for fighting faze sensei, but you know, overall, I think that it worked out well. And like you said, it was like almost like a gaming. Here's my thing, man. And I want to say this, and I want to get this off my chest because I feel like so many of these promotions are doing it wrong. I think Showstar is doing a pretty good job, but I feel like all of these promotions came out and they're trying to replicate the magic that happened, especially because I think that we can all agree probably the best events that we've had as far as YouTube boxing is concerned is the first event, Logan versus KSI over in Manchester. The one that I was on was probably like I think that was the best, or the second best. I think the other one that was very good and that was for the fans was the Social Gloves event. But now they're trying to just take influencers and put them in cards with like regular boxers or regular professional boxers or whatever it is. And it kind of loses the magic of having a YouTuber influencer card, because I think that all the guys, like you said, man, me versus faze sensei was like the community, the gaming community, like fight. And then there was other stuff like, of course, KSI and Logan. I just think that they're losing some of the magic by not bringing these creators together in a full creator event. And I got to give Showstar, hats off to Showstar. They're actually doing a good job with that.
I agree with you when it comes to this entire YouTube boxing thing. Like with people trying to replicate the magic when it comes to those first few boxing events like KSI Logan, Joe Weller versus KSI. You know, those were big events when it came to, you know, launching YouTube boxing into the space and becoming it more mainstream. But now that there's money involved, people wanting to make more money, you know, people who want to get involved because of the money for other reasons to have big names and big events, you have to have a lot of money to put on those events. And it's not going to be the same as like everyone just fighting for free and fighting for a certain amount of money. Everyone wants a large amount of money, man.
Oh, no, definitely. And I think that all these guys deserve it as well. I think that the thing with the whole YouTube boxing now is that the storylines need to be there. I know that with a lot of these events, they try to just place you know, this guy has 1 million followers, this guy has 1 million followers, just put them together. But you need a storyline. You need the community to get behind this fight for a reason, like one reason or another. That's why I thought me and Frazier made so much sense. And when I talked to Frazier, he totally agreed with me. Me versus FaZe K would have been perfect because both from the gaming community, we've known each other forever. We have history. I've worked with FaZe. He was a part of FaZe. There's like so much history there that the storyline would have been beautiful, you know. And I think that that's something that a lot of these boxing promoters maybe don't realize. They think, oh, this guy has 1 million followers, this guy has 1 million followers, just put them together. Whereas the storyline always does so much better. And as far as money is concerned, of course, if you look at a guy like you know, any of these guys, I don't want to list names or anything like that, but any of these guys with millions of followers, they're making a ton of money. So for them to step away from their current schedule and get involved and promote an event, of course it's going to take money. If I have to train for 3 months to go into a boxing fight, man, I'm going to be missing out on 50 grand of my money that I would be making for my content, my brand deals and all that stuff, because I have to put that time into the boxing. So I need to be compensated, and I want to have a fight that's going to do well for me and my brand and my name value.
You said that you and Frazier K was a potential fight. You guys kind of both agreed on it. What didn't make sense for Showstar? You guys just couldn't put that on the event at that time, or what was going on with that?
So as far as us not being on this Showstar event, we had both agreed to it, and I don't want to, you know, say too much because obviously I spoke with the Showstar guys behind the scenes and a bunch of stuff. You know, you don't want to put anybody's business out there, don't want to expose DMs or whatever. But what I think that I can say, and I think that what they would be fine with me saying is, they were looking to add additional fights onto the card. They saw that I had participated in the first one. They hit me up. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they were expecting a smaller fight, or maybe they offered me a few opponents that were smaller guys that really, to me, don't have name value in the communities that I'm involved in, right? So even though the guys are killing it somewhere else, they really don't have the name value in the gaming community or the communities that I'm a part of. And I'm very well connected in the gaming community. I've been around forever, since 2010. So I made a few calls. I figured out what would make the most sense. I talked to Frazier, and I think that the fight between me and Frazier, even though they loved the idea, Frazier thought the idea made perfect sense. I love Frazier too, by the way, great guy. The fight made sense, but I think that it was just a little bit too much on the plate for them. I think they were looking for a smaller fight, and I think the fight between me and Frazier was just too much, too late for this event. But
yeah, that really made sense for Money Kicks and Jarvis as well, Frazier K's little brother. I think it makes sense that maybe you guys come back in the future. I know a lot have been talking. There's been a lot of talks in the community maybe about a potential, like, we want to see maybe a social knockout versus Showstar event, like Slam and Adam and those guys come over to Showstar and fight, and they kind of do it together, or maybe another event. But I think it would be great for you guys in the future because, you know, Frazier K, he was a former member of FaZe. He is in the gaming community. It would make sense for you guys. You guys were kind of around at the same times doing the kind of the same thing. If not the same exact time, similar times, and they kind of meshed well together. I mean, you got the FaZe logo back there. You're friends with FaZe Sensei. You agreed to do this. You do the fight originally with FaZe Sensei. So I think that's good that you have maybe a future fight potentially lined up with Frazier down the line. Maybe you guys can go at it. But speaking of fights that you've been in, a lot of people talk about that event with you and FaZe Sensei. Can you talk a little bit about what that experience has been like? Because you have a lot of new YouTube boxers entering the ring in a couple weeks from now. And if you had a little bit of experience talking about what that ring walk was like, maybe some advice to some fighters who don't really know like what's going to happen before you make that walk. And when you make that walk.
Definitely. I got a little bit of advice. But you know what? You said something. I just want to touch on it real quick. Maybe you're right. I didn't even think of this, but maybe down the line, Jarvis fights Money Kicks, I fight Frazier, and that's the top 2 slots on the main event of the next card. That's a great idea, bro.
Give credit to Fight Lounge. Me and him were thinking about that, but mostly him. But yeah.
That's a good idea. I think that would really work. And I know that Frazier wants a little bit more time to train. I'm not an incredibly gifted boxer. I mostly wrestle. So I think that it would be a good matchup. It would be good fun as well. But as far as new boxers coming in and getting involved in the space and making that ring walk, I got to say this, man. It is so exciting. That's probably still one of the most fun, most exciting nights of my life. But it can be a little bit overwhelming for sure. I know that I've fought before I've competed before, let's say that, in jiu-jitsu in front of 2,000 people maybe. but that was nothing compared to the 20,000 people over there in Manchester Arena. And I gotta say, it definitely takes a lot out of you. If you're not used to performing under those lights, people always talk about, like McGregor always talks about it. All these major fighters, anybody who talks a lot will say, you wilt under the pressure, right? You get scared under the lights. You're not used to the pressure of being under those bright lights. And it is true. It takes a lot out of you, man. It feels like you get it like an adrenaline dump, right? So you don't have as much cardio as you might have, or you can't move exactly the way you want to, at least until you get warmed up, because it is just an overwhelming experience. A very fun experience, but overwhelming. My walkout was great. I walked out with my dad. He was my corner man, my right-hand man. My dad walked out with me. And then I think on my left was Keemstar, and he was performing Dollar in the Woods, his hit song from like
That's awesome.
2018. It was a great time, man. Keemstar's my uncle. By the way, if you didn't know, that's why he walked out with me and performed that with me. Then my dad was
Is
right
he
there.
actually your legitimate uncle?
Yeah, he's my legitimate uncle.
Oh my God,
you
really?
can ask him right now, yeah.
That's
You
actually
look,
insane.
I'm growing the beard out. I'm going to make it pointy just like him.
That's actually insane. I actually didn't even know that, but that's actually insane to know that you actually, you've done jujitsu before, and even the walk was still exciting for you because you've done it before, but still a little bit physically daunting. Now you can expect that could be tenfold for someone who really has never done this before, especially when they're making that ring walk for the first time, never being and having any combat experience. I do have this one question for you. I know a lot of people have been asking, FaZe Temper, do you know if FaZe Temper has any in-ring fighting experience when it comes to what he's done in his former combat experience?
So, yeah, Temper's like my brother, man. I absolutely love Temper. He's one of the best guys I know. He's done a ton for me. I love the guy. I was actually gonna go train with him and Sensei if I got this fight on Showstar. I was gonna be out there training with them, which would have been amazing. I would have been training with Temper and Sensei. But I do know, and I have been around him enough to know that he's trained a ton. I've actually done jujitsu. I've done private lessons with Temper, with jujitsu. Me and him have trained a bunch with wrestling, and he always, every time I've ever visited him, he's always doing some type of striking, whether it's just at the house with Sensei, whether it's him going out to a boxing gym and training. He's always been involved with striking martial arts. So as far as that's concerned, like, you already know I'm biased because that's like my family right there. But I think Temper just what's the word that I'm looking for? It's from MW2. Tactical nuke incoming. That's what's happening. If he doesn't play that for his walkout song, by the way, he's insane. He's gonna dominate this fight.
He's gotta play like a FaZe Ilkam's montage song when he's walking out, having people have him with the fake sniper rifles and stuff, aiming and going in for the quick scope, the 360 no scope.
Bro, I'm not kidding you. I'm gonna text him right now and tell this man he needs to play the sound clip from MW2, the tactical nuke incoming. He needs to play that for his walkout song. You know what I mean?
That definitely. I agree with you.
That'd be great.
But you are a Call of Duty YouTuber, and you are entering the boxing ring. So we were talking about this prior to us start recording. You're coming back to YouTube sometime. Are you thinking about making a comeback to YouTube? Is that just from YouTube boxing, or maybe making a comeback to the Call of Duty videos full time? Maybe something new you were trying to try out?
After a little bit of success on YouTube, I did the YouTube boxing event, and then that opened the door to a lot more opportunities. I ended up signing a deal with TikTok, and now I have close to 2 million followers on TikTok. And I started managing some other creators, some other brands, and that's mostly what I've been doing as of late. I currently have a plan to come back to streaming. And of course, I want to get my YouTube up to 1 million. I never got there. I would love to get there. And I think that mixing the real life with gaming is something that I've always done. Obviously all the GameStop videos and stuff did really well for me. And I would love to get that. And now I've done so much groundwork behind the scenes. There's so many cool things. There's so much in my daily life that if I filmed it, people would like to watch it, because I think that I'm in a place now where I'm blessed to be able to, travel and go meet up with some of everybody's favorite creators and make content with pretty much anybody. So I definitely like to do a gaming, real life vlog type channel and get that going again.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's actually good, man. I actually like you mixing the real life and game and stuff. That's actually what I try to do on my channel. I try to make mine a variety channel. I talk about this, I talk about that. We can lead off. We can end off on one last question, if that's cool with you.
Of course.
When do you expect you to make your return in the YouTube boxing ring? Whether it's Showstar, in Frazier, or whether it's somewhere else, because we know that there's a bunch of other things that are going on. There's an iDubbbz event going on, Creator Clash. You got gaming, commentary, different, all sorts of people from the gaming space. You could definitely get involved in that. I mean, I don't know if you want to get involved with Social Gloves, but Social Gloves has an announcement coming up. Is there anything that you could see potentially in the future, maybe a couple months, maybe 3 months down the road? What's going to happen with that, man?
Yeah, so for me, as far as I'm concerned, man, I am involved in the space. This is like a lifestyle for me, man. I've never disappeared completely from the space at all. I've been around for a decade now, and I definitely plan on sticking around for another decade. And as far as the YouTube boxing is concerned, I want to be on an event this year. I want to be on an event that makes sense for me. It makes sense for, you know, my brand and what I'm doing. And I'm just excited to get back in the ring. I want to fight an opponent who's kind of involved in the same space. Frazier's a great guy, FaZe K. If he's down in a few months from now, that would be beautiful. If not, I know there's going to be a ton of events and a ton of upcoming opponents. I've been hit up by like no less. Honestly, we all hear about these big ones like Social Knockout, Social Gloves, Showstar. I've been hit up by probably close to a dozen other smaller promotions that want to work in this influencer boxing field now, and I'm open to all of it, man. I definitely want to be a part of an event coming up soon. I'm excited to get you know, on the train. I fit the bill, man, for doing something like this. I think that I'm entertaining. I think that I have combat experience. I'm involved. I was one of the pioneers on the first YouTube boxing event, right? And when nobody else would take the fight, I took the fight against FaZe Sensei, and I think that I fit in perfectly in the YouTube boxing space. So I'm hoping by the end of summer, I'll have a fight lined up. That would be my hope.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, I actually do think you fit the bill. You have combat experience. You're a gaming entertainer. You manage people. You do all these sorts of things. You're a jack of all trades. I hope when you have a fight, you can come back on the show and I can ask you some questions about your fight, what your training's like, and how it's going. But I really appreciate you doing this interview, man. Thank you for subscribing to Gloved Up. Subscribe to Overtflow. Follow him on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I'll link all your socials below. And we'll see you guys in the next Gloved Up interview.
That's awesome. Thank you, bro.